back to 1st September 2001, a date I'm sure you know all too well. Talking about the England-Germany game, the 2002 World Cup qualifiers. Heading into that match, England really badly needed that win. Did you believe that you could not only win the match, but win it in such an impressive and dominant way that you did?
Probably not in the dominant way that we did. Obviously, you go into every game thinking that you can win it. We knew how important it was. We lost the last game in the old Wembley to a Deep Mohamed free kick. And then coming into their own backyard, and I think they were 60 plus games unbeaten on home soil. So we knew how difficult it was going to be. But again, any game you're going into, especially being the England national team, you expect to win. So going into that, we knew it was going to be tough, but we knew we had more than enough to cope with what they've got, and it was going to be about us. But then to go 1-0 down, it didn't help. But we still believed in ourselves.
And the night itself, you arrive at the ground, you do your warm-ups, you head into the dressing room, it's pre-game. What's the chat? What's the morale-boosting speech? Who's saying what? How are you getting yourselves G'd up for that game?
I think a lot of the time it's all individual. You got individual people doing their own, focusing on how they're going to go about the game, and then you get together and Sven does his speech, and it's Sven's first competitive game as well. So he's got his clipboard out and he's showing everyone how he wants them to play, how he wants them to move and everything. And you're just focusing on the game. You're not really worrying too much about anything else.
And David Beckham was captain at the time, of course. How influential was he, sort of pre-game as well, getting you guys ready?
Bex was more influential in the way that he performed, more so than them speeches that a lot of captains give, inspirational captains. But he was more about how he did it on the pitch. And he was phenomenal in doing so. I remember playing in the Greece game, which is an iconic game as well, and just by what he did on the pitch alone showed you how much of a captain he was. So he was more about what he did on the pitch more than a big speech.
It wasn't the greatest start for England. 1-0 down in the early stage. I think Carsten Janker scored for Germany, I believe. Obviously, as a team, you've got to think, right, we can sort of regroup, get together, go for this, and get back into the game. You yourself, are you looking at that thinking, well, here we go?
A bit of both, if I'm honest with you. You've got to remember you're in their backyard as well. So we were still young as well. I think I would have been, 2001, so I'd have been 23, 24, 23. And so we still had that mentality of, okay, we'll regroup and we'll go again. And that's what we did, to be honest with you. And obviously Stevie scored quite not long after that, and we had a go. We just went, played some really good football and attractive football in between. Because again, when you go 1-0 down, you think, teams are on top of you, but they weren't necessarily on top of us, and dominating us. No, we were still creating, we were still doing well.
And one thing that maybe not surprises people, but people forget, is that team was littered with both Liverpool and Manchester United players. Obviously, there's that rivalry there, but when you're in an England shirt, how is that gone? When you're on that pitch, it's literally job at hand. We're England now. Yeah,
100%. You've got a common goal, which is actually winning the game for England. You want to do the best for your country. You want to come out of there with all the accolades. And again, we like I said, not long after we got going, we galvanised ourselves and we scored. I think it was Michael who scored from a nice header down from Nicky Barmby. And that just got us going, and that picked us up. And after that, we started to believe in ourselves again. But we scored at a critical time as well. The goal that Stevie Gerrard scored was just before half time. And anyone will tell you there's critical times within the game, which they scored their first goal within the first 10 minutes, which we say the first 5 minutes of the game, you got to be focused. Then it's the 5 minutes just before half time, you got to be focused because you don't want to go in then having lost the goal. Then it's the 5 minutes after you start again, because you've sat down for a while and you want to get your focus again to get going again. And then end of the game again. And we scored just before half time. You got a mental edge over them then. You got a mental edge over them going into that game, going into that half time, and you're 2-1 up, and they've got to come out try and chase that game again.
So you touched on Michael Owen and how important he was in that game. Obviously, he scored the first goal, Stevie G, and then after half time, Owen gets, of course, his famous hat trick. I mean, looking back, obviously his career was blighted with injury, especially towards sort of the latter stages. If he hadn't had those, do you think he would have gone on to become England's all-time top scorer?
I think he was on course to do that. He definitely to become the top goal scorer. If you look at what he achieved as well, he did a lot at a very young age. You're talking about Ballon d'Or as well, Ballon d'Or winner, phenomenal player. Look at his stats compared to what people are saying about other people's stats nowadays, and his surpasses them. But obviously, with the injuries that you get, they catch up with you at times. I played with Michael, and sometimes when I look back now, you think it's a little bit of a shame that because Michael's playing injured a lot of the time because we needed him, and that's how important he was. We needed Michael Owen on the pitch, so he'd play for 45 minutes to maybe 50 minutes injured, maybe score a goal. But what is the long-term effect of that? We'd win the game and it'd be great. But long-term effect is he won't have the sustainable career that he wish he could have.
And obviously he gets the 4-1 after his hat-trick. Paul Scholes plays you through, you're 1-1. What's going through your head at that point?
To be honest with you, the first thing that was going through my head was make sure you have a good touch out in front of you, because I knew the defender wasn't going to catch me then. And I didn't have the best of touches, to be honest with you, because when I shot, it was underneath my foot. But I remember saying to myself, keep it low underneath his body, and I just managed to get it under Oliver Kahn. And then went off, did the celebration.
Yeah, I was going to say that celebration. I mean, I was sort of a young kid then, and it still sticks in my mind, a little golf club celebration. Why did you do that?
Well, the thing was, it was a DJ one first, which I'd done all that season anyway. And then the golf putting one was the next one where, again, the DJ one was for a friend of mine called DJ Spoonie. And then he said the next one was going to be the golf one, and it was actually it was really good that I did it because it fitted well, the fifth goal and sinking a putt.
And of course, you have a great career, and you release your autobiography. Emile Heskey scored, which is sort of a chant that was almost born out of that game. Obviously now you can look back and sort of laugh about it, but at the time when you're a professional footballer, and there's sort of a minority group of supporters who are saying even Heskey scored almost in jest. Did that ever bother you at any point? I
couldn't let it bother me because, again, I'm playing. If you let things bother you too much, then you're not focusing on what you're good at and what you're asked to do. So I couldn't really let it bother me, to be honest with you. And at the end of the day, I've scored over 100 goals in the Premier League. There's not many you can say that they've done that. And I've scored in the World Cup. There's not many you could say they've done that either. So I'm ticking a lot of boxes considering people said I didn't score.
And just to finish on, I mean, obviously it was a fantastic night, finishes 5-1. I mean, there's that famous image of the scoreboard in the stadium, just reads Olympic Stadium, Munich, Germany 1, England 5. How does that actually make you feel when you were a part of that? It's such an iconic and one of the greatest England moments in the history of English football. Yeah,
100%. It makes you feel good. I get stopped everywhere in the world, to be honest with you, from England fans, and that is the game that they remember. Everyone remembers exactly where they were when that game was being played, and that's how iconic it is. I get some good stories. I get some funny stories. A bloke come to me and said that he was only young. It was his birthday, and we went 1-0 down after 7 or 8 minutes, and his dad was fuming that much. He just left the house and never watched the game. So he missed one of the most iconic games ever because he was fuming that we were down 1-0 after 7 minutes. But everyone knows exactly where they were because of how iconic the game was.